Hello everyone, it's Lau and it's super cold here in Brazil today. I am loving it. But it's time to talk about episode 22 from Start to TWINKLE PRECURE. And this episode was very touching. I loved this episode and it basically had three big happenings in it and it made things really interesting. The first one was that it was Tanabata, the Star Festival. It's a very famous and traditional festival in Japan, and Madoka was the one that explained to us what this festival is. And the other thing that happened in this day was that it was Lala's birthday. So it's Kurimyuki's birthday, so happy birthday to our favorite alien. I mean, is she still our favorite? Because now we have two aliens in the Star Twinkle group. But anyway, it was her birthday, and so the girls wanted to celebrate. She wasn't really happy about it. It seems to me that that's not something big where she comes from, because she wasn't even caring about it, and her AI had to remind her of it. So I don't think she was particularly fond of that event. It seems that her birthday was just a simple day. And the other one, which is I think the most important thing about this episode, was that Hikaru's father came back. Yoichi came back. He's always traveling the world, and he came back to meet Hikaru, and obviously he met the girls who are now her friends, and he spent the Star Festival day with them over a special barbecue. So this episode started with, for me, it was a very strange scene in which Yoichi appeared, and he quickly saw Fua, he quickly saw Pruns and Lala, and he quickly understood they are things, creatures that are not from Earth. And he didn't really question that. He was very excited about it, but he didn't really question where they came from or who they really are, what's going on, how Hikaru knows them. And Hikaru just asked him not to tell this secret to anyone, because then they wouldn't be able to still be here on Earth. So that was very strange, because, I feel like he didn't even think about at least asking Hikaru where they come from or what's really going on with her, who she really is, and what's happening. That was kind of strange to me. But it felt very nice to see that he quickly jumped into this bandwagon, and he quickly accepted the fact that he can't tell anyone about it. So that's a very Hikaru thing to do, right? And so the girls quickly said, like, oh, we now understand where Hikaru's personality comes from. And he is the one that invented Kirayaba. So we have to thank Yoichi, because Kirayaba is one of the best phrases in Precure history. And so we get to know him, we get to know his tastes, and it's interesting because I feel like this is a type of episode that I really like, because it really integrates the characters in it. Elena and Madoka were always participating in this episode, even though the focus was on Hikaru and in Lala in some sense. Madoka and Elena were always there participating somehow. That's something that I really enjoy when an episode can do that with the characters. Elena was always asking questions and Madoka was always answering them, because Madoka is very intelligent, and she even read Yoichi's book. Yoichi writes about creatures that appear all over the world, like the monster, the Lake Ness monster, and the other creatures that appear around the world. Interesting fact, he even mentioned the capybara in this episode, the chupacabra. Capybara is a simple animal. The chupacabra in this episode. And that's a creature that appeared here in Brazil. So maybe we have cures here in Brazil that are fighting those creatures. I don't know, but chupacabra is a very famous creature here. And it's like part of our imaginary culture, It's part of our folklore already. And he mentioned capybara in chupacabra in this episode. So yes, when the episode progressed, the girls are preparing the barbecue. Yoichi went on to walk with Yeti, and we see that, I didn't know that, maybe they have mentioned it already, but I haven't noticed it. I thought that Hikaru's grandparents were her mother's parents, but no, they're her father's parents. And so we see that there is a big rift between him and his father, because Hikaru's grandfather is a very strict man. He always sticks to the rules, and he doesn't really like the fact that that his son travels all around the world. For him, it's very disrespectful to his own family because they should always be together. And we get to know a little bit of his backstory, Hikaru's father's backstory. He's a very intelligent man. He was a professor in a university, and he couldn't fulfill his dreams. I think that a lot of what Hikaru likes and her interest in space and creatures comes because of her father, because he taught her that when she was very little. And that was a very cute moment in this episode. I loved seeing them with this back and forth. It was very cute. And so when Hikaru noticed that her mom was able to follow her dreams of being a mangaka, and her father wasn't able to follow his dreams of getting to lots of different places in the world and writing about creatures that appeared in different places of the world, she encouraged her father to go after his dreams and to pursue his dreams, even though it meant leaving his family for a while, not staying close to them on a daily basis. Yes, that hurts. Yes, that's bad. It's always good to have your loved ones close to you all the time, but that's life. That's how life goes. And sometimes you need to go out. You need to leave the place, you need to leave home, you need to leave your family behind to follow something that's not possible to bring everyone together. And that's what he did. And so the Tanabata being an event that brings people that are far away together, he always comes back in this special date to visit his family. So he comes home once a year and then he gets back to traveling. And I felt like it was very nice that Hikaru was able to showcase her feelings like that and give her father the kirayaba that he needed, so that he could travel the world and go after his dreams. He wasn't feeling it because he didn't want to leave his family behind, but he went on. He actually left his family and went on after his dreams, and that left his father very angry at him. And so they kind of lost their connection and their relationship became horrible. Lala was the one to notice that, and it's an interesting fact. I like that they put Lala in those situations. I always love they put Lala in those situations because Lala is an alien. So she doesn't live on Earth. She doesn't have our culture. She doesn't think like we do. And so for her, being apart from her family seems to be a normal thing. At least for now, we don't see her frowning over it. We don't see her sad about it. She has a mission. She's an adult in her planet. She doesn't really think much about her family. We don't know about her family yet. But at least for now, it seems that she's okay with the fact that she has to leave her family to fulfill what she has to fulfill. And so I think that putting Lala in those situations is very nice because she always brings something different to the conversation. We had that in an Elena episode in which Lala talked to Elena's brother, and now we have Elena talking to Hikaru's grandfather, which was also very nice because Lala is very blunt. She doesn't hold back in words. She just says it like it is. She's not afraid, and she's not she doesn't, as I said, she doesn't have our culture. She doesn't need to mince her words because she doesn't really know how we communicate to each other, how we sometimes take a step back not to hurt other people. She doesn't know that. And she just says it like it is. And so when she told those things to Hikaru's grandfather, he was able to think things through, and he was able to rationalize some of his feelings a little better. And then he even went out to understand what was going on inside him. And when you think about what you're feeling, sometimes you get to different conclusions, and that's a nice thing. And so, obviously, Tenjo got him in that moment and transformed him into a monster, and then the Cure started fighting him. And that was basically the only moment Uni appeared and had a big role in this episode. And she appeared and she transformed with the girls the first time the 5-star Twinkle Girls transformed together. I loved their 5-girl group transformation and how they make a star with their hands. It was very nice. And the group pose was also very good. I really liked it. And the fight itself was very geared towards the four girls for two different reasons, I think. The first one is that they are already connected through each other in fights. They already know how to fight together, and that's what they did in this episode. And the second one was for the narrative to show Uni how cooperation is important in fights. And so the girls were able to maneuver themselves through the fights, and Hikaru was able to deliver her feelings in concerning the fact that she's happy, even though her father is far away. She's happy that he's pursuing his dreams, and their family, no matter where they are, they're always connected. They're always connected through their feelings, and so she was able to defend herself, but the killing blow was delivered by Kira Cosmo herself, and it was very nice when she stole the Jiminy pen from Lala. That moment was priceless. It was very good. And so she delivered her power. No big changes with a different pen, just the color of the beam. And so she quickly went away. The four girls stayed together. And we had a beautiful family moment at the end with the girls and Hikaru's family, Lala and Hikaru's grandfather. It was very beautiful. And I loved this moment right here because we had like Hikaru with her father and mother, you know, they'd be talking. That was when he mentioned the chupacabra to his wife because he wants her to write about those things in a manga. And she's like, oh, I don't think that's my thing. But, you know, overall, a very, very beautiful episode. And kind of a bold one as well, because when we have a new cure appearing, she's usually the center, she's usually the focus. And then we have like one episode after Cure Cosmo's birth, she's not here with us. She simply did not appear in this episode. It's understandable, being who she is, but it's also very strange for the Precure narrative to treat her like this, at least for us that's been following Precure for a long time. Because we usually have big focus and big moments on the new girls right after they appear. This time around, Uni didn't receive her focus right away. That's a good thing, I think, because she's a lone wolf. She likes acting by herself. And so taking a moment for herself in a big moment in her life like this, it's also interesting. And it's interesting to see that the other girls are also there. They're also alive, and at least it seems that the narrative is not going to forget about them. So maybe, just maybe, things are going to get very nice from now on with a big division of focus between Cure Cosmo and the other four. Cure Cosmo doesn't seem to be hogging all the screen time like right away. But in next episode, we're going to have like a welcome party to Cosmo, and Fuwa is going to eat that special cookie, and things are gonna get wild. We're gonna have a Fuwa panic, and I'm very curious to see that. Also, next episode, we're gonna have Capard as a villain, and you guys know how much I love him. Anyways, guys, that was my view on episode 22. Please leave a comment with yours. Let's keep our talk in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.